What's up everyone, V here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro carded series, Ben Reilly Spiderman. I am going to be completely honest with you right up front. I have no idea, any knowledge about this Spider-Man. I mean, I know about Ben Reilly Spider-Man, but until this figure was announced, I had no idea this design of Spider-Man even existed. I'm not too into the comics. I'm trying. I do want to read some Spidey comics because where I work, there's a good selection of Spidey comics, and I do want to read some. But I don't know anything about why he's in this suit. Is this the same Ben Reilly that's in this suit? Is it the same one that's in the red and blue suit? I don't know. There's a lot of different Ben Reileys. I kid you not, I think even this is a Ben Reilly. There's like 4 different Ben Reilly figures, maybe even 5, in the retro carded series. And I don't know anything about this Spider-Man. And when the pre-order pictures and everything went up for this figure, I'll be honest, I didn't think it looked good. I wasn't gonna buy it. But then I went to the comic shop. It's the same day I got Rose. And I saw it there, and I was like, you know what? He actually looks really cool. I'm gonna buy him. And to my surprise, I actually really love this figure. It's really cool. Fun fact though, I do believe there is a comic at my work that is of this Spidey design, cause like one day it was like early in the morning, so we were like opening. It wasn't like, I don't know if it was like really quiet at the store, and I was just looking through the Spidey comics because I saw one that was like some Spider-Verse thing, and I was like, yo, that looks cool, and I was just looking through the rest of them, and I saw one, and I looked at the back, and the back had an art picture of this design, and I was scrolling through it, and it was of this Spider-Man. So who knows, maybe if I read that comic, I will know what this Spider-Man's deal is. But one thing that I noticed in the comic and on the box art is that his suit looks red and blue, but the figure's red and black. So I don't really know what color it actually is. Maybe it's like a 2099 syndrome where, like, one color's predominant, but it's actually another color. Like if you look at 2099 art, he's predominantly black with blue, yet when they put it into like more live action type things, the suit's blue and not black. So maybe it's one of those where it's like, maybe it is black, but they use blue to highlight it, but there's so much blue to where it does look like it's blue and not black. I don't know. That's just my observation. But yeah, that aside, this figure I actually really like. I think he looks pretty cool and is a blast because he is on the Renew Your Vow Spidey body, which means he's automatically better than like half the Spider-Man figures ever made, because this is my first iteration of the body. I never had the Renew Your Vows body before this figure, so this is my first experience with it. So you can obviously tell it's going to be very positive because that body's just amazing. But before we get into Ben Reilly himself, like always, we'll take a look at the card. Don't fall over. Yay. And, of course, it's a card. And as you can see, I got it from New Dimension Comics. Overpriced, I might add. $30 for a $24 figure. It's $6, but it's $6 that could go to another thing. But another thing, I mentioned this in the Rose video, but some figures from this wave actually have a different box art design. Because if I bring in Rose, like, see how it's got like different background, different setup. It doesn't have like the classic figure feel. So I think this is from like characters and stuff that's from like the Spider-Man animated show, and this is just straight comic figures. That's my Sherlock Holmes Batman analysis of the packaging. But actually, I'm not a bird, guys, trust me. I don't know why I went bark. Can you tell I haven't made a video in a minute? I've just had a lot going on. Not a lot of free time. But yeah, so the background's really cool. It's got like this orange, which fades into purple, which fades into this really cool, like, web with Spider-Man up there. Then a really nice shot of Ben Reilly. Now, I want to bring up this later when we look at the figure, but yeah, you can see, like, it's got a lot of blue going through it. But it looks really cool. Ben Reilly Spider-Man, Marvel Legends. Warning, you can choke. And then, on the back, you got a glam shot of the figure, which actually isn't truly misleading, because it's him just standing there. Then that same shot there. Then a little bio. Ben Reilly Spider-Man. Armed with a web-slinging suit and the memories of Peter Parker, clone Ben Reilly protects New York City as the heroic Spider-Man. So I don't know if this is... Again, I don't know if this is like another multiverse thingy where he's the only Spider-Man or whatnot. I don't know. Maybe it's the same Ben Reilly as like the 50 other ones. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, maybe I'll find out later if I buy that comic. But yeah, that's it for the packaging. Again, there's not much going on. Bringing in the figure in all of his beautiful glory. We'll take a look at accessories, of course, first. And when I say that his accessories are such a poor, sad, thing, he comes with two hands. One one wall-crawling hand, which is painted nice, got the nice webbing, and then a thwip hand, but I have it on him, so he has another fist, and the thwip's on him right now. Again, looks pretty good. It's a thwip hand. I think it's the same fists and wall-crawling hands that's been with Spider-Man forever, but they don't give him an alternate wall and an alternate thwip. And me personally, I don't, pose my figures like crazy. I just mess around with them, so I give them a fist and a thwip, and I call it a day. Those are literally the only other hands that ever enter onto my Spidey figures. But I can understand why a lot of people are upset about that. You're paying $24, and you're not getting any accessories. And the thing that's annoying is, it'll be more prevalent when I review the PlayStation Spidey, but I like to have the thwip on this side and fist on this side. But for that figure, the thwip's only on this side, and that's when it actually annoyed me. But it's like, why? You don't gotta make new parts. It's really lazy of Hasbro to just only give us one hand of each when they could very easily give us two hands. It's not that hard. At least on this figure, personally, it doesn't bother me, because again, I don't really pose them like that. I just put these hands on them and call it a day. But for someone who really likes to pose figures, puts them in dynamic poses and takes pictures, that can be really annoying. So I really hope Hasbro catches on that, hey, that's stupid. We should actually give a good amount of accessories for figures that now are way more expensive than they were before. But yeah, it's really sad that that's all he comes with. But yeah, like I said, he's on the Renew Your Vows body, so he's automatically in the top 5 best Spidey figures ever made, because this body is phenomenal. When you take it out of context, I'm over here talking about how phenomenal this body is and how I love this body. It's my first time having this body, and I'm talking about an action figure. Out of context, it sounds weird as hell, though. But yeah, he honestly does look good. I really like him. So let's get into the details. And let's start off with the head sculpt, because the head sculpt is strange. It's really big and really round. Let me bring in Amazing Fantasy, just for comparison. And here's what I don't get. It's not big on the comic art. You bring that in, it's normal sized. So why is it so big and round? I mean, I like it. It adds some character to him, but I don't get why it's so big and round. It's very strange. But I guess, I mean, it adds to the weirdness of this Spider-Man and the uniqueness of his design. Man, I am just stuttering this entire video. But it's really strange that it's such a big head when in reality it shouldn't be. Now, the big eyes, on the other hand, are very accurate. And I love big eyes on Spidey figures. I'm not one of those guys that loves the super squint eyes, although I think it does work perfectly on Amazing Fantasy. But man, I love the big eyes on this. It's so, like, expression-y. If that's not a word, it's a word now. But yeah, I just love the look of the big eyes. It really just goes to Spidey's, like, character. I just feel like it just captures the, like, young, fun spirit of Spidey versus the more thin and, like, angry looking eyes for Spider-Man. I prefer them being round, very friendly looking. And like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, let me figure out how to word this sentence. Like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 Andrew Garfield Spidey that's in the No Way Home 3 pack, they added a, like, gloss or a pearlescent white to the eyes instead of it just being white, which gives it this nice shine, and I really like it. Little nick there of the paint, or maybe like a splotch, but it doesn't bother me. And another thing that's unique is, like, the webbing there, because it goes all the way down there instead of, like, being up there for most Spideys. And the webbing is painted beautifully, as you can see. It's painted really well. Then coming down to the chest, he's got a really interesting spidery. I tried to say spider and Spidey logo. My god, Spidey logo. And for some reason, like, on the chest, it's the same on the PlayStation Spidey. Like, up here, you can, like, feel, like, a texture, and it's really glossy. I don't know why, because the rest of the figure isn't as glossy. So maybe if you wanted, you could hit it with a matte coat, but it's strange because it's also on that figure, and I don't get it. I'll be reviewing those PlayStation Spideys soon, don't worry. But I really like the uniqueness of his Spidey logo. Number one, all the legs go down, which I love. I love when Spider-Man's legs go down as opposed to the two going up. I just prefer that look, but it's like, it's off-center and everything, and I think that's a really cool and unique thing. It's hard to see it because there's black lines. The black on the suit, and then the black spider. But, like, when you bring it in, again, this art, it looks really cool and unique, and I do like that design. And, of course, the webbing throughout looks really good. Although I feel like this figure would just pop if you painted some of the blue throughout to give it that, like, comic-y feel. And then, yeah, coming down to the arms, got a little black strap there, and then just the classic Spidey look the rest of the way down. All the webbing is painted beautifully, even painted it on the elbow, which is nice, as opposed to some figures, which we will talk about on a later date. Same on the other side. The webbing is painted beautifully. I love how it looks. And I think it's a bit thicker. Like, it's a red and black Spidey, yet wrong Spidey. But it's somehow so different compared to this guy. I think it's the webbing's a bit thicker, which I think's really cool. I forget if it's this Spider or another one, but, like, in some areas it's thinner, in some areas it's thicker. I don't know. I think it's this figure that has that. It's strange. And then on the back, it's a really unique Spidey back. I don't know why I have it so zoomed in still. But yeah, he's got a really weird looking spider, really thick, and then has the legs go down, and it has, like, webbing going down there, which is really strange for a Spidey design, but I vibe with it. And then the legs are legitimately just classic Spidey. Got the muscular body coming down to the boots, which again have that beautiful webbing all around. The paint on this figure is really well done. He's beautifully painted. There's no, like, splotches and everything. The webbing is painted beautifully. There's no misalignments, nothing missing, nothing crooked and everything. Everything is painted pretty much perfectly. One thing I will say, and I think it's just maybe the design of the figure, but I rotate this a lot, and I noticed that it's chipped there. Also note that they painted white and then black. It's interesting. They could have just painted black because it's black. But yeah, train, by the way. So I'd be careful about that. It's kind of happening on this side too. I think it might just be from, like, constantly doing that. Maybe it's just scraping it. I mean, nothing like paint or a Sharpie couldn't fix, but I just let you know that you might get some paint chipping under the arms, which is a bit of a buzzkill, but it's only on this figure. Like, let me grab him real quick. PlayStation Spidey, which I'll be reviewing soon. He doesn't have that issue. So, I don't know what's up with that. But, yeah, articulation-wise, he is peak Spidey. This is like peak Spider-Man articulation right here. So, he's got a dumbbell joint at the head, and he has a little cut in the back, because this is basically the same body. Body-wise, it's the same as like this figure, but it has new arms and new legs. You can look up that far. Again, I prefer if Spidey's had dumbbell joints, not ball hinge joints instead of dumbbell joints, because you could get it looking way higher up and way lower down. Way lower down. Is that right? I think it's right. But yeah, bit of bob and rotation. Arm moves out about that far, rotates, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of par for the course now, but all the joints are pinless. Which just makes, look at that, there's no blue or black dot there, it's so nice. Then hinge in and out and rotation on all the hands. Butterfly joint, you can move it extremely far back. I don't know if that was in focus or not, but that is insane. And they still painted the stuff in there, although of course it gets misaligned. And you can kind of move it forward, and they painted it in there again. But if you bring the arms forward and work the hinge a bit, you can kind of get it in about that far. Then he has a diaphragm joint, which actually moves forward and back, bobs and rotates, then an ab crunch. And if you work all that, you can get him moving that far forward and beautifully far back. This figure has like the best diaphragm and ab crunch combination. I just hate how muscular it is. I prefer like the more like subtle musculature, where you can still see muscles, but it's a lot smoother, as opposed to bulging muscles. I don't like it. But there's no denying that this is probably the best Spider-Man body we've had, and I can't even imagine how they're gonna top it. But I don't know. People were saying Pizza Spidey was the best body back in the day, and now that figure's trash. So, in my opinion, I have the Pizza Spidey body on the 2099 figure. Horrific. Make a new 2099, please. Legs kick that far forward, but they kind of swing out, which is a little stupid. But I do think it drops down. So yeah, can do the splits. Yeah, it definitely drops down. Look at that. Thigh rotation. Double jointed knee. You got a boot cut. Hinge up, down, rocker, and a toe joint. What? That's insane! Actually, I don't really care too much about the toe joint. I mean, it's cool, and I do use it when I'm posing it, and it's fun, but I can live my life without a toe joint. I'm not one of the people freaking out that some of the newer Spideys don't have toe joints. So yeah, he's got phenomenal articulation. This is overall a really fun figure, and a really cool and unique Spidey design for my collection. Time for some comparisons, because I was hoping this would be a quick video, and then I've just talked for the past, like, 20,000 years. Oh yeah, hold up. Completely forgot my tradition. Here he is next to Moon Knight. This is a customized Moon Knight. I did cut the curve off the cape because I did buy another Moon Knight for a custom I'll be doing soon. Ooh. And I just wanted it so you can, like, actually hold it like this without that curve coming by. Anyway, I'll talk more about the customs in an upcoming custom video. Upcoming, it'll probably be like a month or two away because I still have to make a lot of the customs. But yeah, here he is next to Moon Knight. Then here he is next to a average Voyager Transformer and a Black Series figure. Next, Shockwave and the Camino Clone Trooper. And for some 7-inch scale, here he is next to McFarlane DC. Here's the Flash and a Jazzwares Halo, Master Chief. And for some Spidey comparisons, here he is. It's not the previous review, I think that was Miles, but here he is next to his wave mate, the Rose! And here he is next to Chasm, who I will be reviewing soon. And because why not throw him in there? Miles Morales. Made a video of him, we'll be reviewing these two as well. And for some fun, here he is next to some past Spideys. Here he is next to that Amazing Fantasy Spidey. And Scarlet Spider. Definitely need to make a new version of this figure. But yeah, they look great together. And finally, here he is next to the predecessor to the Renew Your Vows Spidey body. It is the retro-carded body on the Black Suit Spider-Man. I don't have the original, because that figure's insanely expensive. And I wish I was able to get the Ben Reilly that was on this body, too. It's a little outdated now, but I really like that Ben Reilly design. But yeah, that's about it. Do I recommend this figure? I honestly do, because, I mean, if you have, like, maybe the Renew Your Vows Spidey, it might not be as hype because you already have that body. But since this is, like, my first time with the Renew Your Vows Spidey body, I mean, I say that like I don't have any other figure. I mean, he's on it, but I got him first. Is definitely worth it. It is a blast to pose. So much fun. But again, if you already own the body, it might not be as fun. But also, it's a train. It's also just a really cool looking Spidey design. And it definitely stands out next to my Spidey collection. I want to build more of a Spider-Verse. So yeah, I highly recommend picking him up. I'd give him like a solid 7, 8 out of 10. There's no bearing on that ranking. I just threw out a number. I don't have like a system or anything. I'm just going to talk over the train because it's the end of the video. Anyway, like, subscribe, check out my previous reviews. Got a lot of Spidey that's been posted and reviewed. And even more Spidey to come because I am just on a Spider-Man kick. Check out my Instagram, MoonEdXO. I'm doing, speaking of Spider-Man, I'm doing like a bunch of like OC Spidey designs and like original takes on Spider-Man and his villains and characters, so go follow there if you want to see some pretty cool artwork. So yeah, also if you want to talk to me there and check out little teasers for upcoming reviews. So yeah, that's about it. Anyway, hope you have a marvelous day, and make sure you don't get yourself cloned, because he might replace you, you know. You never know. It'll be like that Paul Rudd show. Anybody remember that one? Anyway, peace.